Genesis may be a new luxury brand here in America, but the company has been starving for an SUV for quite some time. I'm here in beautiful Miami Beach, Florida, where the company has just unveiled the all-new 2021 GV80. Let's take a first look. So I am literally here on the streets of Miami Beach. As you can see, the lighting out here is not perfect, but it still does not hide the fact that this is one gorgeous looking SUV. You can see this has the new design language that Genesis just introduced. It's called Athletic Elegance. At the front, you can see it's dominated by the company's new crest grille. It actually reminds me a lot of a Bentley, which is a good thing. This thing to me looks a lot better than the Bentley Bentayga, and whenever they announce pricing, this should be significantly less. You can see the Genesis grille, or the emblem is right here, which again kind of reminds me of a Bentley. These quad beam LED headlights are going to be standard equipment on this car. You can see it's a very distinctive look, which kind of reminds me of a Porsche. It just looks very expensive, and that's kind of where Genesis was going. The brand has really been killing it in terms of the designs. A lot of their sedans have been doing well, but as you can see, a crossover is really what they've been needing for quite some time. Now, underneath the hood, this car is going to sport two powertrains here in the US. The base engine will be a 2.5 liter turbocharged four-cylinder. It should be the same one that's in the Sonata N-Line, which in that application makes 290 horsepower. I'm imagining this is going to be a little bit more. The optional engine will be the 3.5 liter twin turbocharged V6. So it's an all new V6. We haven't seen this V6 yet. Unfortunately, Genesis doesn't have power figures just yet, but it does come standard with an 8-speed automatic. And remember, rear wheel drive is going to be standard. All wheel drive will be an option. This car is riding on a new dedicated rear drive platform, so it doesn't share anything with the Kia Telluride or the Hyundai Palisade. Now, as you can see here, the wheels on this particular one here are a massive 22 inches. That's right, you can get 22-inch wheels on your GV80. They're riding on 265 width tires. I think this might be one of the best looking wheels that I've seen in the luxury segment. They really fill out the wheel wells nicely. And this car, they didn't have figures in terms of ground clearance or the actual suspension and what it uses, but we'll talk about that, of course, later when this car goes on sale this summer. Now, as you can see, the rest of the side profile, this is a relatively big looking SUV because this car is around 195 inches long, and its wheelbase at 116 inches long is about 2 inches longer than the Telluride. So remember, not the same platform, but it really gives it a really great presence. This car is about the same size as something like a BMW X5. So again, this is why they're calling it the GV80, because the V stands for versatility, and the fact that it's an 80 means that it's a mid-size offering, because they will be eventually offering a GV70, which is more compact, and then a GV90, which they're still kind of toying with the idea of that. Now, looking at the rear of this vehicle, you can see the same kind of design language that we first saw on the Genesis G90 with these twin LED taillights. The Genesis badge is kind of spelled out back here, and then there's some very tasteful looking font that I'm seeing here. It actually looks relatively good. I think, again, it reminds me a lot of a Bentley on this car, but remember, it's not going to have the same kind of price that we're talking about here. Now, looking at the trunk area, Genesis actually hides the little release over here, and when you open up the trunk, obviously this one has a power liftgate, and it also has an optional third row, which I'm going to get back there in the third row later and show you guys the space, but I don't have official figures just yet. Genesis, of course, will announce that at a later date, but you can see if you just push this button over here, the seats will fold down. The front seats also, or the second row seats can also fold down as well, but they're not fully electric like the third row. But when you fold down these seats, you can see it offers a fairly good amount of cargo space. It almost looks like it's pretty similar to the last Telluride and Palisade that I saw. So obviously with a luxury SUV, the exterior design is important, but what about the interior? And as you can see, I'm literally parked on the street of Miami because it is a crazy kind of unveiling here. There's a lot of people here. Genesis wanted to make sure this car was getting a lot of coverage. And actually, as you can see with the lighting in here, the interior is really impressive. If you guys find the interior of the Telluride and the Palisade impressive, this is going to basically take it up one notch above that. You can see the dash has complete leather stitching everywhere. There's real aluminum trim. There's real, matte finish wood in here. The seats up here up front are heated and cooled. The driver's seat has that new massaging adaptive seat chambers where it has 7 different air chambers. Genesis says it's designed to reduce fatigue. And then, of course, the centerpiece here is that massive 14.5-inch infotainment display. It's a split screen display. It's kind of similar to the interface we've seen in the other Genesis products, but as you can see here, this is a touchscreen, and it's also controlled from this rotary dial down here, which all of it has really high quality controls. The wood here looks beautiful. I love this shifter here with the kind of glass-like applique over here that makes it look even more expensive. And then the steering wheel is an interesting addition over here. You can see it has a unique two-spoke look that kind of reminds me of the current generation Mercedes-Benz S-Class before they refreshed it. You can see there's an LCD display over there, a 14.5-inch display over here, and then another LCD display over here. The knee pad over here is even quilted in leather. Genesis said that was part of the higher trims. As you can see, there's a lot of beautiful LED lighting where you can kind of customize everything. So overall, the cabin is going to obviously impress you as much as the exterior design of this vehicle, but this car is supposed to be a family car, so let me hop into the back seats and show you guys what the space is like. Now getting into the second row of this vehicle, you can see this particular one here has a bench seat. Now I'm not entirely sure if Genesis is going to offer a captain's chairs, but I do like the fact that they do allow the seats to slide forward and back. That's because this car offers a third row. That's right, a third row seat will be optional, but as you can see here, if you guys are sitting in the second row, there are a lot of features in here to make it a really nice place to spend time. The seats back here are also heated and cooled. I'm guessing that'll be an optional feature. You have your own set of climate controls. There's some rear seat air vents over here. All the materials are also really high quality. There's a lot of LED lighting. There's even a little mirror here so you can kind of do your makeup and check to make sure that you're looking good whenever you get to your event. The door panels over here you can see are also soft touch. There's actually a power retractable shade here, which is really nice. Again, it's going to give this thing an up-level feel versus its more plebeian Hyundai and Kia cousins. But let me hop into the third row over here. Let me show you guys that really quick. The car, you can access it by pushing this button over here. You can see it kind of slides the seat forward and back, or forward. And when you get back here, let me see, there's actually a button back here that I can push, and you can see the seats back here in the third row are actually power retractable, which is nice. I don't have any legroom quotes or figures back here just yet, but you should know that this car, since it's based on a rear drive architecture, it doesn't feel quite as spacious as the last Telluride and Palisade I sat in. However, sitting over here on this side, this is with the seat all the way back, I actually find it to be rather comfortable back here. Now, granted, I'm short, I'm 5'7", so obviously your taller friends are going to find a little bit less space back here. But in terms of stuff, there are rear seat air vents. You can see there's a metal speaker cover. There's a little bit of storage back here, some cup holders. So this is actually a decent place to spend time. It doesn't feel quite as claustrophobic and cramped as I was expecting it to. And I also really love the LED lighting and all the suede Alcantara and the premium materials, which even carries over into the third row. The 2021 Genesis GV80 will be going on sale in the summer of 2020, and pricing has not yet been announced on this car. I'm expecting it to start in the mid to high $40,000 range, basically picking up where the Telluride and the Palisade left off. But regardless of the price, this is going to be one hot new entry into the mid-size luxury SUV segment, and other brands should definitely be worried when this car does hit the market. For Redline Reviews here in beautiful Miami Beach, Florida, I'm Sofyan Bey.
Standing in water.
I am standing in water.
Careful.